maybe the crowd would like to hear from you, Patanjali.
Sure. See, the 2 months corporate still is, and then as I see, 2 months is sufficient time where the person is constantly engaged. The projects that generally corporate give to the students is a very high intensity project. So what happens is 2 months is enough for the corporate to judge the student. After all, let me give a counter example. What is an alternate way to this? We interview, we spend those 30 minutes, 1 hour, and we select a person. And vis-a-vis, you have a 2 months to judge a person. Which is better? So currently, instead of having those 30-minute, 1 hour discussion, and better option is let that be extended to 2 months. Your calculation or your intervention is much better in that scenario.
Definitely. I think 30 minutes interaction, instead of having a 30 minutes interaction, a longer 30 days, 60 days kind of interaction, one gets to know better. And we have seen that companies are retaining those talents who have worked with them in some sort of an engagement or some sort of an internship. Shaurya, would you like to throw some light on this particular thing? I think you already answered, but maybe the other crowd would like to hear from you, Shaurya.
No, so I said, see, I'm not saying that internship should not be there. I'm saying while the internship is there, we have to look at other models as well. Right. That's what my submission is, that we need to look at the entire curriculum in such a way that the engagement between the corporate and the campus is, more productive for both.
Very true. Okay. I move on to this next question, which is apparently the last questions, and we are very much within the time. Okay. The last question is coming from Karthikeyan. What are the skills and qualities are corporate expecting from freshers nowadays? Okay. Shaurya, maybe you can cover this part.
Skills and expectations. Well, the first thing if I were to go to campus today or to go to B school, I would look at the attitude of the person. See, even today, we don't want people to say, no, I will not do this. So do you have a positive mindset? Do you have a can-do attitude? Are you a fit in terms of the values and the culture? And when I say values of different organizations vary. And one point in the previous question when Patanjali was answering, he mentioned about warmth in engaging. That's a very, very important aspect, which somewhere we miss out in the day-to-day work. Along with warmth is another point which I would like to stress is, do we as corporates trust the hires, be it campus or whatever? Somewhere that quality also needs to be looked into. Right. So today's hirings will be based on trust. It will be based on the attitude. It will be based on the ability to not only deal with ambiguity, to manage ambiguity, and yet chalk out the way forward, the path for the future. That is something which I believe organizations would look at.
Very true, Shaurya. Patanjali, would you like to share your views on this? What are the skills corporate are expecting from freshers these days? Is there a change from something which we are expecting from millennials? What is that you would like to throw light on?
Yeah. I mean, foremost, definitely, which Shaurya mentioned, is ability to manage ambiguity. And that's the world also, right? VUCA world is what we say, keeps on changing. So how is the person able to manage the ambiguity? Second, very important thing is 95% of the jobs are in the non-technical space. I mean, if an engineer, the engineer will not get into R&D. Engineer will get into allied works. Similarly, an MBA will get into additional work. So, how is the person able to solve skill sets? How is the person able to solve problems? So, his problem solving ability, thinking ability, that continues to be, which was earlier also, and that continues to be as one of the basic pillars. Is the person able to think strategically? Is the person able to zoom in and zoom out? So that will continue, and that continues to be. So therefore, if you see, many of the companies, many of the corporates have switched their extensive campus hiring to just limited set of questions, limited set of interviews. What are they testing there? One, is the person able to think correctly? Second, is the person able to speak correctly? Speak does not mean necessarily language. Able to communicate, understand and communicate. Able to express his or her thoughts, able to understand what the person wants. If the person is able to just cover these 2-3 things, I mean, whatever job you are in, whatever role that you are aiming in, you will be able to crack it. It will be a piece of cake.
Very true, Patanjali. I think this is very important aspect. I think freshers will be able to get a guidance from the veterans from the corporates, and will be able to improvise on how they are taking things further in the upcoming sessions. Okay, I think today's article also, today's Economic Times also mentioned that the pre-placement offers have already started ringing bells in the institutes, and corporates are fighting for the day one slot. Okay, which I think Shaurya did mention, and you also mentioned that it is important to have transparency among the corporates. Okay, in order to.
So Sunil, I have a point. When we said the war for talent in campus, I remember this was sometime in 99 or 2000. And IIM Indore had just been established at that time. And the company I used to work with, we had got a slot at 2 a.m. in the night.
Wow.
Okay. So the war for talent has always been there. Imagine, as a corporate, you have to go out and keep awake and you get a 2-hour slot. That's it. So from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., you better evaluate the people because you wanted them. They have multiple offers. So that's the way it is.
Very true, very true, very true. I think corporates need to bend a bit, okay, and get the best talent out. Whether that is like burning a midnight oil, and which is true by going at 2 a.m. Okay. Ranu?
Yeah, I think Shaurya and Patanjali, last Sunday in the morning, I think at around 7 o'clock, I was in a morning walk with placement director of a Cat A college. And the college has close to 480 students. And he was saying the day one hasn't come and almost 85% are placed. And his regular corporates who've been reaching out to them, including I'm talking about the big four, one of the big fours as well. And they were trying to say that, we've already received 4 applications, 5 applications, and he was finding it very difficult to manage them this time. He was saying that almost everybody is placed. I can't help it. Only around 80 students are left out of a batch of 480. So he was completely stressed out in terms of how do we manage corporates this time. The challenge was very different. So this is one thing. A quick, very important session. One, I think a lot of college guys missed out. In fact, the training and placement officers and the directors missed out the session to
Ranu, you are on mute.
right. So what I'm trying to tell you is that while Patanjali, when you mentioned specifically that grids are the bread earners, no more the bread earners, and are expecting a work-life balance, my take to the students, it is not about you guys being the bread earners and you're talking about the work-life balance. What corporates are looking at is about your right attitude and the willingness to work and somebody who takes up ownerships. You're just starting for your careers, and I keep coming across the campus students coming to me also or for other companies and talking, is it a 5-day working or a 6-day working? For me, when I started off, and one of the very senior faculties who was a very big name in the industry also said, 7 दिन काम करने में प्रॉब्लम है क्या? भगवान करे तेरे पास 10 दिन होता और तू काम कर पाता था. That was the point that he made, and that is the attitude that they were looking out for. He used to always say, and I still remember, be open to taking up assignments the way it comes in, rather than going by the rule book that this is what my JD is and this is what I'm cut out for. Fortunately, I was one of the youngest to reach up to the CEO level in my batch, and I think that is one thing that I remembered. Whatever came my way, I took it up in a stride. Now, corporates look at what Patanjali and Shaurya mentioned. Corporates are clearly looking at your openness and flexibility to take up larger assignments over a period of time. Very important point for the training and placement officers and directors of the colleges is to bring in transparency from the colleges. Just because organization A came into the organization, or you're trying to reflect that this organization came into the organization, is not what is important. Engage with organizations and try to bring in a lot of live projects. Almost all the speakers have said this, and I very strongly agree that it is not the academics alone that I'm looking out for. Academics is about fundamentals, but I'm also looking at live projects, more leadership engagements, your kids coming up with innovative ideas during their engagements, which are there, is very, very critical. And when you're discussing in that 30 minutes interview, which we spoke about, if your kids have really spent that 2 years or 3 years of your time into corporates, this life projects automatically brings in the comfort. Very important point that both Shaurya and Patanjali made was the corporates are ready for early engagements, and this engagement point is common between the two. Your students are looking at engagement with your corporate world, and so are the corporates trying to do it, bring in. It's like getting a bride inside the family, and the family is equally wanting them to get comforted, the girl comforted, as much as the girl wanting to do it. It's something on the same lines. I request all students to take up their life projects fairly seriously and get involved into the project. I think a lot of projects are available courtesy Google. You have a lot of projects which you can do a cut, copy, paste. But even if you're doing that, just get involved and do it properly so that you understand what are we talking about. Remember, corporates always want to make it more engaging. We will try to come up with similar topics in the future as we've been doing this. More specifically on this topic, wherein I can see a lot of requests coming into my WhatsApp as we talk continuously from almost a lot of training and placement offices we are connected with. And we'll try to cover either the same topic. And I'll also request my speakers, in case there are any question and answers beyond the discussion today, we will reach out to you for answers. Keep watching us, keep continuously keep tracking our guest lectures as well. And we'll guarantee you to come up with more topics which are going to enlighten you continuously. Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Shaurya. Thanks, Patanjali, for giving your time from your busy schedule. Patanjali, I think last week you had some important schedule and you still managed to give us a slot in this week. Thanks for you. And thanks, Shaurya, for accommodating us and giving your time and valuable inputs within the forum. Thanks, Sunil, and thanks, Vicky, as always, for managing the entire event and keeping it seamless. And thanks to the audience as well for giving your time to listen to us and keep us encouraging with these topics on a continuous basis. Keep meeting regularly, and definitely Shaurya and Patanjali will keep engaging from further aspects as well with you guys. Right? All the best, and have a good weekend.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Patanjali. Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, Rano.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.